the director called cut 3 times, but my celebrity husband was still locked in a passionate kiss with his childhood sweetheart. As his assistant, I kindly reminded them, but the childhood sweetheart burst into tears, claiming she was too deep into the role. In front of the entire crew, my husband scolded me, saying that my eyes and heart were so dirty, that I saw filth in everything. That night, the paparazzi caught the two of them entering and leaving a 5-star hotel together. In the past, I would have been devastated, obsessing over him and scrambling to handle the PR crisis while crying. But this time, I realized our 5-year secret marriage was utterly meaningless. Right after I spoke with a lawyer about the divorce, Jacob walked into the lounge, the lipstick mark from his childhood sweetheart, Agnes. The moment he saw me, the smile on his face instantly vanished, his gaze turning cold and said harshly, "Sienna, can't you figure out your place? This is a resting room for the leading actors, arranged by the crew. What are you doing here?" I grabbed the thermos from the makeup table and replied indifferently, "Getting my stuff." Jacob had started his day at 5 in the morning. I'd made the meal in the thermos at 3. The weight hadn't changed, so I knew Jacob hadn't touched a bite. Seeing me turn to leave, he frowned in displeasure and said again, "Don't bother making food anymore. It's unpalatable." It wasn't the first time he'd said my cooking was bad. In the past, I would have exploded, questioning him. "Didn't you say you wanted to eat my cooking for a lifetime? Why is it suddenly disgusting now?" But this time, I didn't even bother to argue. I simply said, and walked out the door. Jacob called after me, "There's a crew dinner tonight. The director wants me to discuss the script with Agnes." I pretended not to hear the guilt in his voice and coldly replied, "Okay." After closing the door, I threw the thermos into the trash. The last scene had been filmed close to home, so Jacob hadn't stayed at the hotel. He returned home around 1 a.m. Seeing that I wasn't waiting for him in the living room like I usually did, Jacob pushed open the bedroom door and said impatiently, "Sienna, you know I have trouble sleeping. Why didn't you brew my calming tea?" I pulled the blanket over my head and lazily replied, "I ran out of tea leaves last night. If you want some, order takeout." With a loud bang, Jacob slammed the door and went into the study. That was his way of showing he was angry, and in the past, it would have been my cue to spend the night tossing and turning, eventually humbling myself to apologize. But that night, he waited until the next morning, and I still hadn't knocked on the study door. The next day, the crew moved filming to a remote mountain outside the city. For once, Jacob allowed me to ride in the van with him. Just as I got into the van, Agnes, wearing a low-cut backless dress, walked up gracefully and said, "Jacob, do you have any bug spray? I always attract mosquitoes." Seeing me, Agnes changed her tone. "Oh Sienna, you're here too. Then I'd better take the other car." Before Agnes could finish, Jacob coldly said to me, "Sienna, can't you be sensible? Stop causing trouble. Go sit in the assistant's car." For the first time, I said nothing and got out of the car. Watching my figure retreating into the distance, Jacob furrowed his brows. 5 minutes later, I received a WhatsApp message from Jacob. "Today, Agnes will have a scene where she shows her legs. Don't misunderstand." "Understood," I replied shortly.
Click the link in my profile to watch the exciting follow-up.